And the Coast Guard has a major responsibility when it comes to the fight against drugs and helping maintain order in the polar regions of the globe. As drug trafficking continues at an alarming rate, One America's Neil W. McCabe spoke with the Commandant of the Coast Guard about how that branch of the military is helping limit the illegal trade. Take a look.
Admiral Paul Zukunft, the 25th Coast Guard Commandant, was commissioned an ensign upon graduation from the Coast Guard Academy in New London in 1977. He told One American News he was the only member of his high school class to consider joining a service academy.
The view of the military was a little bit different back then, but I've always been a big believer in service. I just thought, hey, here's an opportunity to serve in a whole different capacity.
Zukunft said he is focused on the Coast Guard's drug interdiction mission, where the game changer has been operational security. In the past, cutters would patrol designated boxes and hope a drug smuggler would stumble in. He said it was like sitting in a deer stand. Now cutters go where the drug smugglers are going. On one recent drug patrol, Cutter Berthoff came home with 22 metric tons of cocaine with a streak of 8 straight days with a drug bust. Not to be outdone, her sister Cutter Stratton came home with 32 metric tons. Those hauls have a combined street value of more than $1 billion. The Coast Guard became front-page news when President Barack Obama committed his support to expanding the Coast Guard's icebreaker fleet.
You know, being able to assert sovereignty in the Arctic domain, look at the human activity, be in a position where we could be semper paratus in the Arctic region, we're not there because we just don't have the capacity.
The Admiral said the Arctic has become both a busy place and a dangerous place.
I just happened to be up there at the same time. Russia and China were doing a maritime military exercise up in the Arctic. A month after that, I met with all of the heads of the Arctic nations, the Coast Guards, and we signed a joint statement. Do we want to make this the next battlefield, or do we want to pay attention to the fact that the real issues are the environment itself?
The Connecticut native said it is a matter of priorities.
Recognizing the Coast Guard can't be all places at all times, but where do our authorities resonate? Where do we apply scarce resources, and what are the outcomes that we have to do that?
In the end, the Commandant said, he wants to leave behind a Coast Guard where young Americans derive the same sense of accomplishment his Coast Guard career gave him.
We empower very junior people to carry out today's work in the Coast Guard, and they couldn't be more excited, so much so that we have the highest retention rate of any of the armed services. In addition to drug interdiction and polar operations, the Coast Guard maintains aids to navigation and performs heroic life-saving feats at sea every day. Neil W. McCabe, One America News, Washington.